Before Moses ever stood before Pharaoh, before he ever parted the Red Sea, before anyone ever called him a leader, he was afraid. Afraid of his past, afraid of his weaknesses, afraid of what God was asking him to become. This is the story of Moses, not as a hero, but as a human being who felt exactly like you. Moses grows up confused, Hebrew by birth, Egyptian by culture, rejected by both. He feels like he doesn't belong anywhere, like his whole life is a mistake, like he can't be who God says he is, because of who he used to be. And maybe you feel that too, torn between who you were and who God is calling you to become. Moses makes a decision in anger, a mistake, a sin, a failure that haunts him for years. He runs, not only from Egypt, but from himself. He hides in the desert, thinking God could never use someone like him. But God knew something Moses didn't. People who have tasted failure become some of God's strongest leaders, because humility isn't weakness, it is preparation. One ordinary day, God interrupts his silence with a fire that doesn't burn out, and a voice that shakes the soul. "Moses, I'm calling you." But Moses responds the same way many of us do. "Who am I? I'm not good enough. I can't speak well. They won't listen. Choose someone else." Moses wasn't afraid of Pharaoh. He was afraid of himself, afraid he wasn't enough. But God wasn't asking him to be enough. God was asking him to trust him. God doesn't compliment Moses. He doesn't boost his ego. He doesn't say, "You can do it." He simply says, "I will be with you." Because God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. He doesn't need your confidence. He needs your obedience. He doesn't need your perfection. He needs your surrender. Moses finally steps into his calling, not because he felt ready, but because God promised to go with him. And when he finally said yes, seas opened, nations shifted, and history changed. Not because Moses was powerful, but because God used a man who almost said no. Maybe you're like Moses, afraid of what God is asking you to do, afraid of your weaknesses, afraid of stepping into your calling. But hear this, God doesn't ask you to be fearless. He asks you to be faithful. You don't become the person you're afraid to be by being strong, but by trusting the one who is. If God called you, he already prepared you. You're not too broken, not too late, not too flawed. You're chosen. If you're inspired by these stories, comment, share, and subscribe for more from Church Gist and Wahala. Thanks for watching.